What is good, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. If you are new here and enjoy NBA content, I'd appreciate you taking 1 second of your time just to like this video and subscribe to the channel, as it helps us grow as we continue to push out more NBA content. But this video is going to be on Devin Vassell, the 22-year-old wing on the San Antonio Spurs. And obviously, since Tony and Timmy and Manu and even Kawhi have left, there have not been the same amount of eyes on this San Antonio Spurs team. And so as a result, a talent, a true hooper like Devin Vassell has fallen a little bit under the radar. Obviously, that will change next year as Victor Wembanyama comes to town, and the media and the more casual fans are going to watch more Spurs games. They're all going to see how damn good this guy is. He averaged 18.5 points this year, 4 rebounds, 3.6 assists, only played 38 games because, again, you guessed it, they were trying to get Victor Wembanyama, and that they did. But this guy's just a really talented basketball player, bro. And I see some shades of McCall Bridges. I see a little bit of Chris Middleton in there as well. But he also just has his own unique style and flavor that he puts into the game that I really enjoy. And he's not super athletic. He's not super fast, but he is really long, and he has great touch, great feel, and great IQ. And for me, those are usually the more satisfying players to watch, as he's not going to rely on jumping out of the gym or blowing by guys. You really have to have a good understanding and feel for the game, and that Devin Vassell does have. So let's waste no more time. I appreciate y'all being here. Let's get into what makes Devin Vassell special as a basketball player. Okay, so to just put it simply, Devin Vassell is a mid-range master, an absolute mid-range master. And I knew coming into this that the mid-range shot was a part of his shot diet. But after reviewing the tape, I just came away all that much more impressed and with all that much more respect for what he does in the mid-range, because he combines great feel to get to his spot, great length to shoot over guys, and then a lot of different moves both going left and right to create the extra space if he needs it as well. So let's get into some of these clips. All right, so right here we have Jalen McDaniels trailing him. Jalen McDaniels has a 7-foot wingspan, a very long defender. And I want you guys to notice this is the last point in which he puts the ball down. I want you guys to see where he ends up taking that shot. Look at that. Look at the amount of space that he creates to get a good look for himself. And you right-handed hoopers know how hard it is to step back going right. But that's part of what I love about his game, is the ability to create space to generate good looks in the mid-range. Here's another one. Herb Jones, another really lengthy, good defender trailing him. That's the last dribble he takes. Look at where he ends up. Creates enough space, even with the length from Herb Jones. Hits a really tough shot with the shot clock running down. Here it is again. Dwayne Dedmon in a semi-drop. He could just take the pull-up jumper, but he takes the step back going right to create a little bit more space. And these are tough shots, but you can tell he almost likes these step backs left and right to help create a little bit of rhythm for himself. And like I said, bro, he can do it going both ways. Here's a bunch of clips of him going left. This one is actually my favorite. 111, tie game. Look at the space he creates. Actually, a pretty good closeout from Cody Martin. Not good enough. And I feel like a lot of times when we talk about elite offensive players, we just think about the crazy shot making and the guys who can make really difficult shots, right? Steph Curry and Dame and Trey pulling from damn near half court, or Kyrie Irving or Ja Morant making a crazy shot. And while that's part of it and part of what makes these guys so special, and Devin Vassell can absolutely make difficult shots, as you've seen in this video and as we will continue to get to, I think another really important aspect of being an effective half-court scorer is the ability to get to a spot on the floor where, yes, the shot you are taking may be difficult, but you have done it within rhythm, and you've done it so many times that when you get to that spot, even if a hand's in your face, it doesn't really matter. Think of the Kevin Durant's and the DeMar DeRozan's. And that's what makes me so high on this guy, is because he does that. He gets to his spots in the mid-range and consistently makes these shots. And we talk about IQ and feel being such a big part of his game. Let's watch him work in ball screen situations. So right here, Aaron Gordon's trailing him, and I want you guys to notice the subtle movement that he uses to get back in front of Aaron Gordon, who's a really good defender, block off his path so he can't impact him anymore. Little hop step in front of Jokic, bucket. And yes, a lot of point guards in the NBA are going to do that, but not a lot of 22-year-old wings are going to have that feel. They're just going to come off that screen and come straight downhill. But that's why I love this kid, because he understands the nuances of the game that a lot of guys don't at this age. Here we go again. He's going to have Norman riding him. Bump, bump, little bit of separation. Gets to his spot for an easy look. All right, this one was ridiculous. Again, a common theme. Marcus Morris trailing him in the pick and roll. And then watch this. Uses his body to keep him off his path. Lefty floaty in the lane. I remember when he did that, I was like, what? How many 22-year-old wings have this screen navigation ability and a lefty floaty in their bag? This time it's Wes Matthews. Again, cut the path off, bump a little bit, get to your spot, rise up, cash. This one's tough because Norman Powell's riding him and he's forcing him to really only use his weak hand. Zoo in a drop, he sees it, little inside out, pull up over the 7-footer, money. Okay, last one, he has KCP trailing him from behind. If you didn't know, KCP is actually known to block jump shots from behind, but watch this subtle little push cross to the left to create the space. That's just elite feel from a 22-year-old wing. He also has a really solid spin move that he uses when he gets beat to the spot. I'll let some clips of that roll as well. But I hope you guys can see the various different ways in which Devin Vassell can get to his shot in the mid-range and why it makes him so dangerous, because you can't really box him in. He's got a counter for everything you do. He can go both ways. He knows the spots in which he's comfortable on the floor, and he's able to get to them consistently. And so it creates, yes, sometimes difficult shots, but for the most part, he's able to find a way to get to them within rhythm and take a shot that he's comfortable with. Now, don't get it twisted. That does not mean that he can't hit tough shots. He is a very good tough shot maker because of his length and touch, and he hit some ridiculous shots this year. So let's get into some of these. And a lot of these don't even require analysis. The analysis is, wow, that is a ridiculous shot. But let's look at some of these, right? So right here, I'm going to freeze it when he releases the ball. You can't even see him, right? Like J-Val and Dyson have him completely engulfed. Right here, Bam Adebayo plays great defense on him. It just doesn't matter. T-Man does a great job, stays down on this play, doesn't buy any of the shot fakes, but Devin Vassell's length, it doesn't matter. Like, he's just going to shoot right over you if you're smaller. Okay, here he gives us a nice little DeMar shot fake to get rid of Bane. Santee, 7-footer, closing. David Roddy on the left. Cash. And I'll just let more of these clips roll, but for me, it just completes the package for him, because we've already seen the multitude of different ways that he can get to his spot and generate cleaner looks. But even if you get him to take the shot that you want, even if you play great defense, he has a 6'10 wingspan, gets great lift on his jumper, shoots it at the very top of his head, and he'll just shoot right over you, and he can still beat you even when he's taking tough shots. And it's not like these are just over guards, right, or even wings. These are over legitimate 7-footers time and time again. And I think it's important to remember also that he is 22, right? This is not a finished product or even close to it. Like, he's gotten better and better every single year that he's been in the league. There's a lot left. This is just a baseline of where he's at, which really, really excites me, because the baseline is pretty damn good right now. Like, if you're a Spurs fan, you're happy with what you've got right now. And we haven't even gotten to what I think a lot of people would say is the strongest aspect of his game in the three-point shot. A lot of the things that we talked about in the mid-range are going to apply from the three-point line as well. Yes, he can make very tough shots from beyond the arc as well. He can make them off the dribble. He can make them off the catch. He can relocate. Let's get into some of the numbers. All right, so Devin Vassell shot 38.7% from three this year, which is solid. It's above average. It's 80th percentile via Basketball Index. But I think the context of it is important, because Devin Vassell took tough shots all year long, and it makes the percentage that he shot all the more impressive, because his openness rating via Basketball Index is a minus 1.76. I know that probably doesn't mean anything to you. It's in the 6th percentile in terms of the openness on average of the three-point shots he took. His three-point shot quality, which is another metric that measures the difficulty on average of the three-point shots he's taking, given, the openness of it, whether it's a catch and shoot or off the dribble, because in general, off the dribble, it's going to be a little bit tougher of a shot. But that's in the 11th percentile. So this guy was just taking tough three-point shots all year long. When you put that in context, the 38.7% from three becomes all that much more impressive. And Basketball Index has a perimeter shooting metric that they use to grade perimeter shooters. It takes into account how many of their threes are unassisted and self-created, the difficulty of them, the usage, right? So if you take more per game, you're not going to be hurt compared to someone who's just taking 2 a game. But he's in the 90th percentile for that as well. He has range, as you can see in these clips. Like, it's not like he's just shooting in the corner or right against the line. Average distance from 3, 26.10 feet, which is in the 86th percentile as well. 89th percentile in catch and shoot threes. Obviously, you can see he can shoot it off the dribble as well. So, to me, there's a lot more than just the 38.7% from 3. When you look at the context, it becomes that much more impressive. And the Spurs are going to be a better basketball team next year, undoubtedly. So, he's going to, in theory, get cleaner and more open shots. But let's get into some of my favorite threes that he hit this year. All right, late game situation against Memphis. Shot clock running down. Fumbles the ball. He's so far out. Little hang dribble going left. Bane right in his grill. Does not even hit the rim. I love this play because, first off, look at how Zion Williamson actually respects Devin Vassell from 35 feet straight on. A lot of guys you're going to let just pull that shot. And then right back at you, Devin Vassell actually respects Zion's ability to block this shot. Little up fake to get him to fly by. Cash. This next one is just a ridiculous shot. Like, very few people in the league make this shot. Very few people in the league even have the confidence to take that shot, let alone make it. And we'll close with the classic step back going right. 7-footer on him. Shot clock running down. Buries it. And we'll get to the finishing real quick. It's definitely the weakest aspect of his offensive profile, but he's not a bad finisher by any means. And you'll see a lot of these clips are really, really nice. But he graded out as just an average finisher at the rim. And I think part of that is the lack of offensive talent around him. So oftentimes defenses are loaded up to him when he drives because you got, Keita Bates-Diop or Jeremy Sohan in the corner or Jakob Poeltl. You can help off and clog up driving lanes. I think the other aspect of it, too, is he's not super athletic. So he'll meet these rim protectors at the rim and try and jump over and through him, and he just doesn't have the ability to do that consistently. But he does have crafty ways to score. We've seen the craftiness in this. You'll see it in some of these clips. He's very long and has these long strides as well that he can create layup angles. This was a really nice up and under. It just shows you the body control to go under Melton. But it's not something I'm concerned about because, one, I've said it a million times, he's 22. He's going to get better. He's already a league average finisher. And then I think it's just like him playing to his strengths. He'd much rather get to his spot in the mid-range and pull up in front of a big than actually go challenge him at the rim. And I think that's smart. Play to your strengths. Do what you do best. Oftentimes, it's going to be a better look for him in the mid-range than going at a big. But he has all the tools, the skill set, the touch, the length. You see it in these clips. He's going to be a solid finisher. And the added spacing that the Spurs will have moving forward, I think, is just going to benefit him that much more. He also has a very solid left hand, if you guys haven't noticed. Very comfortable finishing with the offhand. And the last aspect of his game that we've got to go through is the playmaking. If you've made it this far to the video, man, you are a real one, and I appreciate you. But I watched every single Devin Vassell assist from this year, and he's never going to be a 9 and 10 assist guy. That's a point guard, honestly. That's a point guard, and that's okay. But what he is a really good secondary creator. And he doesn't make a ton of flashy passes. We'll get to some of my favorite ones here at the end, but he's just solid. He's just solid. He's going to make the right read. He's a quick processor. He has great court awareness. So really at any point, if he's driving and attracts attention, he knows where the open guy is going to be. He's also gotten a lot better in the pick and roll and pick and pop. He'll find guys rolling to the rim. He'll get to the rim and drop it off for the bigs. And he's also just a great connective passer, right? So it's not always just about pick and roll, hitting your big, or spraying it out. If he catches it and there's an open guy, the ball doesn't stick. He's just one of those guys you need if you want to play winning basketball. Right here, drives, immediately sees the help, kicks it out to Keita Bates-Diop. Right here in a pick and roll situation, he's going to use the screen, get downhill, sees the help from Jackson Hayes. That's actually really bad from Jackson Hayes. Wide open shooter. Knockdown, right? It's not, and there's so many assists that he has which are not sexy or not super crazy, but if he sees a guy in open space, he's going to give them the ball and give them an opportunity to go create something for the team, which I think guys just love playing with guys like that who aren't necessarily even hunting assists. It's just like, okay, are you in space? Can you do something with that space? Let me get you the ball. And I think that's a super valuable trait. We're going to head over to Basketball Index for one last thing. They have a passing versatility metric that looks at data from Synergy on assists from scoring play types and Sports Radar data on assist locations to gauge who is passing from what type of looks to reward more well-rounded players. He's in the 78th percentile for that metric. So versatile, quick processor, good awareness, unselfish, all a good mix for a 22-year-old wing who can score the way that he can. All right, let's finish up with a couple clips here. You got a high pick and roll top of the key. Devin Vassell right here. He's going to use his eyes to move Bruce Brown out to the shooter on Josh Richardson. As soon as he leaves the paint, the ball's there immediately. Gorgie gets a layup. That's good stuff. All right, now we've got a pick and roll on the left wing and watch him get downhill on J-Val, close out all the space. He's going to get J-Val to commit and leave his feet. Once he leaves his feet, he drops it off for Sohan. Another good look. All right, I love this play because I think it does a really good job of demonstrating the IQ and unselfishness. He recovers this loose ball on a steal, not even looking up, right? How many young players just bring it up, slowly get into a half-court set? Instead, he looks up, leads Trey Jones perfectly, leads to a layup on the other side. That's amazing. All right, and then look at this pass. Gets the steal off a CJ pass. Left hand in transition, sees a tight window, threads the needle to Trey Jones. That's a really, really tough pass. All right, last play, we're going to look at the processing speed. Pick and roll with Sandro. You see, as soon as the help comes down from Muscala, the ball is out there to Doug McDermott. Creates a good look. Just a smart basketball player. And that'll do it, guys. I hope you have a greater appreciation for Devin Vassell and his game. Whether you play Dynasty Fantasy Basketball or you're a card collector, buy your stock now. Get in now before it is too late. In terms of, predictions for next year, I'm going to go 20 to 21 a game. Same amount of rebounds, up the assists maybe a little bit to 4.5-ish range. The Spurs probably don't make the playoffs yet next year, but are a much better basketball team than they were overall last year. I think Devin Vassell will be in the most improved conversation. I'm not sure if he'll win. It's very tough to do that. But I think he'll be in the conversation. And then I think in 3-4 years from now, he'll be an all-star as well. Just too much talent, man. Too much talent mixed with IQ and feel. It's a great little combination, man. Don't trade, Spurs fans, don't trade this man. Don't trade this man. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for being here. And I will see you guys on our next video. Peace, everyone.